Chapter 3:15. After being pulled back by Wen Jingping, Xiaofan realized that he had almost spilled the beans. His face darkened and he was speechless. Su Yiyan was sure that he wouldn't dare to say it out loud. She raised her eyebrows and pressed on. "Why aren't you saying anything?" Xiaofan glared at Su Yiyan angrily. He had no choice but to swallow his grievances. "It seems that you've also realized the loophole in your logic. You can't say anything to refute me." Xiaofan gritted his teeth. If it weren't for Wen Jingping grabbing his arm tightly, he would have pounced on Su Yiyan and torn her apart. However, if he really pounced on her, it was hard to say who would be torn apart. Su Yiyan didn't intend to let them off so easily. Her gaze fell on Wen Jingping. Looking at her pleading and fearful eyes, she raised her eyebrows slightly. She was surprised and amused. It was too late to be afraid now. She didn't have the time or energy to play with these two idiots. However, they were so eager to be slapped in the face. How could she show mercy? Now that we're done talking about popularity, let's talk about ability. Wen Jingping's face turned pale. Just like what Su Yiyan had said before, did she not have the slightest idea of whether she was capable or not? Early on, when it was time to advance from 100 to 60, there were people who questioned why she was allowed to stay when she couldn't even sing or dance. This question became more and more intense as she advanced. Many people who were more capable than her had been eliminated, but she was still allowed to stay. Was there some kind of shady deal? Because of this, many fans of the show became her haters. If it weren't for the die-hard fans she had accumulated during her previous live broadcasts and Xiaofan secretly throwing money to help her buy votes, she would have been eliminated long ago. I know that I'm not a professional and I'm lacking in many aspects, but I've really worked hard. And the result of your efforts? As soon as Wen Jingping finished speaking, Su Yiyan pointed out the main point with a cold face. Do you sing a song that will satisfy the audience? Or do you dance a dance that will make the audience explode? Wen Jingping's Achilles heel was hit. Her whole body shook and she subconsciously took a step back. Seeing this, Xiaofan hurriedly helped her up and said indignantly, "Little Ping said she tried her best. Why are you forcing her like this?" "I forced her? When did I force her? If telling the truth is considered forcing someone, then I am indeed forcing her." Xiaofan roared in exasperation. "You're so mean. How can you always focus on her shortcomings? Can't you look at her strengths?" "On what basis? What?" Xiaofan was confused by Su Yiyan's sudden question. "Why do I have to look at her strengths?" The program team selection list clearly states that the talent show wants to select truly outstanding talents, not experiencers who come here to play house and treat the competition as child's play. If young master who doesn't understand what this means, I can reluctantly explain it for you. What it means is that this is a competition. It's a competition that is based on ability and audience popularity. Nothing else matters. Have you ever heard of contestants who sign up for a competition and are about to go on stage saying to the organizers, "Sorry, I'm a newbie. Can you let the experienced veterans go easy on me and give me a ranking?" Xiaofan, don't treat everyone like fools. No one has the obligation to spoil you. Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes and said clearly, "Or do you think that you can beat everyone with your face alone, better than hard work and talent?" Every time Su Yiyan took a step forward, Wen Jingping took a step back. When she heard Su Yiyan's words, she tripped and fell on her own. Wen Jingping, who was sitting on the ground, was stunned. In a trance, she seemed to feel the eyes on her from all directions. The scornful, sarcastic, and even disgusted gazes made her feel as if she had returned to her previous life, where everyone looked down on her and anyone could bully her. Finally, Wen Jingping could no longer stand the malice of the people around her. She screamed, got up from the ground, and rushed out of the Dongqing gate with her face covered. Chapter 3:17. Wen Jingping's scream was so loud and shrill that it gave the onlookers goosebumps. Xiaofan was also stunned for a few seconds before he came back to his senses. He roared, "Little Ping!" If one didn't know better, they would have thought that something had happened between the two of them and that they were separated forever. Xiaofan struggled even harder, and the bodyguards almost lost their grip on him. Xia Junxing gave the bodyguards a look, and they let go of Xiaofan's hands. Hua Xiaofan couldn't stop in time and almost fell flat on his face. He barely steadied himself and rushed out of the door with a dark expression on his face. He couldn't be bothered to look for trouble with Xia Junsheng and the bodyguards. Tisk! Su Yiyan watched the two of them disappear into the distance. His eyes were full of melancholy. They ran away just like that. How boring. Xia Junsheng, who was thinking about how to clean up the mess, was speechless. After he sighed with melancholy, Su Yiyan turned his head and waved at the reporters. The reporters looked at each other and hesitated for a moment before they walked up to Su Yiyan. They said in a trembling voice, "Hello, President Su. We are reporters from Yueshang magazine. We are here to interview your company. Did you record everything that happened just now?" The reporters suddenly became nervous again. They were afraid that Su Yiyan would go back on his word and ask them to delete the footage. The leader of the senior reporters swallowed hard and said truthfully, "Yes, we did." "That's good." Su Yiyan sighed softly. "You saw it just now. She fell because her legs went weak. It has nothing to do with me. With the video, I shouldn't be blamed for this. Fortunately, I'm lucky." The reporters were speechless. Xia Junsheng was speechless. Was this the main point? Now that he thought about it, this was indeed the main point. The two of them were pestering him endlessly. They obviously didn't have the ability but still pretended to be innocent and tried to scam him. It wasn't impossible. Send a copy of the video to the Public Relations Department. It'll be insurance. Okay, we'll send it right away. It was just a request. How could they refuse? The same old reporter from before asked tentatively, then this report. You can write whatever you want. I guarantee that the Hua Corporation won't be able to do anything to you. However, the premise is that you have to report it truthfully and don't add unnecessary things on your own initiative. Otherwise, Su Yiyan's eyes turned cold, revealing a hint of coldness and threat. You don't want to know the consequences. The old reporter wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and hurriedly said, I understand. As reporters, we should seek truth from facts and convey real-time and accurate information to the public. This is what we should do. That's it then. My secretary should have mentioned it to you just now. Thank you for taking care of our company's artists. There will be many more opportunities for cooperation in the future. Although it was Su Yiyan's first time dealing with these reporters, he knew to give them a carrot after a stick. Her words could be considered as giving these reporters a good impression. After all, there were quite a number of artists in their company. As long as they handled this matter well, there would be many more opportunities for them to interview others in the future. Okay. Su Yiyan said a few words to them and then handed the follow-up to Xia Junsheng. She stretched and went upstairs to continue understanding the internal affairs of the company. Unexpectedly, just as she entered the office, Hua Chenhuan's video call came. Chapter 318. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up. She picked up the phone without thinking. Chenhuan. Are you okay? I'm on my way there now. Xiaoyang is closer to you. Su Yiyan was stunned. You know? I'm fine. They are the ones who are in trouble. You don't know how embarrassed they were just now. Ha. After that, Su Yiyan told Hua Chenhuan everything that had happened not long ago. From time to time, she laughed happily, taking pleasure in other people's misfortune. Hua Chenhuan listened quietly. His eyes were full of tenderness and indulgence. It's really funny. I didn't even think about messing with them, but they rushed to touch my eyebrows. They thought I didn't know what they were thinking. They wanted to splash all kinds of dirty water on me and you. They really thought I was a soft persimmon, and I didn't know how to resist at all. Even a clay figurine has some temper. Hua Chenhuan's eyes narrowed dangerously when he heard that. He agreed and said, They've gone too far. The anger in Su Yiyan's heart subsided slightly because of Hua Chenhuan's words, and a smile appeared on her face. Forget it. When those reporters expose this matter, it'll be enough for them to suffer. Just take it as the price for them to extort our company and our artists. Free publicity for our company and publicity for our artists. Su Yiyan smiled like a little raccoon that had stolen honey. She was charmingly naive but also a little mischievous. After today, Everyone in the circle will know how good our company's benefits are and how outstanding our artists are. After Su Yayan finished speaking, she lifted her chin and gave Hua Chenhuan a suggestive glance. Her face was filled with a smug expression that said, "Aren't I great?" and quickly praise me. Hua Chenhuan didn't praise her as she wanted. Instead, he said with some distress, "If the media publicize this matter, I'm afraid it will involve your previous matter." Su Yayan knew what he was worried about. He smiled and said, "I know, but I don't mind, and I don't avoid these things. If you don't want others to know, then don't do it in the first place. What has already happened cannot be hidden forever. Instead of caring about those rumors and trying hard to hide them, it's better to take the initiative to face them and transform the past into something that's useful to you. In any case, I'm the victim here. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not the one who should be worried about being exposed and condemned." Su Yayan could more or less guess what kind of negative comments he would receive after this matter was exposed. At most, it was the so-called "it takes two to clap" of some stinky straight men, and the "love is supreme" of the Virgin Mary. Compared to these irrelevant comments, Hua Xiaofan and Wen Jingping needed to suffer the most fatal condemnation. At least for Wen Jingping, the title of mistress was confirmed. Chapter 319. Su Yayan was both touched and amused. Who likes to be scolded by others? Hua Chenhuan looked at the smile on Su Yayan's face. The corners of her lips curled up slightly, but she did not comment. Su Yayan's matter was almost settled on her own, so Hua Chenhuan did not continue to rush over. Su Yayan had a lot of things to do. After comforting Hua Chenhuan for a while, she took the lead and hung up the video call. After hanging up the video call, Hua Chenhuan's face quickly became gloomy. She directly gave Zui Yanbai an instruction. "You can send out the press release that you prepared earlier." "You mean the things buried under the Hua group?" "Yes. I understand. Before noon, all the official media will receive the relevant materials about the buried things in the ground. In addition, help me contact my father's old subordinates. Tell them that I haven't seen them for a long time and I want to meet them." Zui Yanbai was stunned and said in surprise, "When do you think it's a good time?" "The sooner, the better." "Okay, I'll arrange it as soon as possible." The joy and eagerness in Zui Yanbai's tone made Hua Chenhuan's heart harden. Even these outsiders could see the indifference and harshness of Hua Qihan's family. It was a bit ironic when she thought about it. Even if there was a little affection in the past, it was almost exhausted after so many years. Entertainment news competed for timeliness and popularity. Moreover, Su Yayan had already hinted so clearly that this matter must be publicized truthfully and quickly. After several reporters of Yueshang magazine went back, they wrote an earth-shattering and melodramatic drama as quickly as possible. In the drama, Green Tea White Lotus was dissatisfied with the results of the variety show competition, so she let her brainless rich boyfriend to personally go to the big investor. She openly and secretly stepped on the artists of the same year and ridiculed the variety show's shady business. In the end, she was miserably slapped in the face by the big investor. Long Outyen did not dare to write a novel like this. Many netizens saw the familiar exaggerated title and complained in their hearts, but they still clicked on it. It would have been better if he didn't look. Now that he did, oh, he saw a familiar face. Ah! What the hell? If I'm not mistaken, this one Jingping is the one Jingping who was mocked 30,000 times every day in Future Star? F***CK. You can even eat your own melon. The so-called dissatisfaction with the results of the variety show competition is dissatisfaction with the final result of Future Star? The artist she stepped on is our Ying. Shaking hands with the person above. It's not just your family, but my family as well. What an unexpected calamity. F***CK. 3 people from the same company, and our Shanshan. What did this B***TCH mean? Did they think that the top 7 contestants were no match for her, a noob who sang out of tune and danced like her? Where did you get the face to do that? Please don't compare our Ying to this B***TCH. She's not worthy. That's right, that's right. Our Tong Tong is both sweet and salty. I really don't know where she got the face to say that 3 people from the same company passed. These 3 people were voted in by us fans. They climbed up step by step. How can a noob like you step on them so casually? You're crossing the line to scam people. They're already in a group and they're still causing trouble. This woman must be crazy to want to be famous. She's not just starting to cause trouble now. She's been causing trouble since before the competition. Friends who don't know can go and search. Back then, almost all the coaches in the show were scammed by her. Chapter 320. Zhang Qiuying was able to stand out from hundreds of people with her own ability and become the team leader. Her ability and popularity were self-evident. Although Huang Zitong's strength was slightly weaker than hers, she was pretty and had a gentle temperament that didn't cause any trouble. The two of them participated in the competition together. They were opponents and friends. Furthermore, they were good at different things and did not have the same resources. Therefore, the fans of the two teams were unexpectedly harmonious. Needless to say, Yun Luoshan was the youngest and the most timid. She also had a silly and cute personality. She was the team's favorite. The three of them could be casually picked out and people could see their strengths at a glance. It could be said that they beat Wen Jingping in all aspects. When Wen Jingping confronted Su Yiyan, she thought that she had the moral high ground. Little did she know that when these words fell into the ears of the three people's fans, it was like poking a hornet's nest. Usually, the fans of celebrities who relied on their looks to make a living didn't like others saying that their idols had no ability and relied on dirty tricks to get to the top. These fans who had watched their idols put in countless efforts and finally walk the path of fame and glory to the top of the stage couldn't tolerate such words. For a time, Wen Jingping was simply a vicious black lotus in the eyes of the three fans. She was the best synonym for a hypocritical green tea bitch. Not only that, but the members of the 7-person team who weren't mentioned were more or less implicated. Especially the fans of the last contestant at that time. They felt that their idol had accidentally been implicated. They followed the footsteps of the other three fans and pointed their guns at the same time. Compared to the fans of the other teams who were advancing together, Wen Jingping's fans were a little unlucky. The other fans were just eating melons to see their idols being implicated, but they were eating melons until their house collapsed. Boyfriend? F***CK. Isn't she single? This question flashed through the minds of all of Wen Jingping's male fans and some of her female fans. When Wen Jingping first started her live broadcast, she attracted a lot of viewers with her pitiful image of a little white lotus and her delicious home-cooked dishes. After that, she cooperated with the internal staff of the website who signed her at that time to sell the misery of a single-parent family and gain the protection of countless male viewers. Before participating in Future Star, Wen Jingping had already confirmed her relationship with Hua Xiaofan. However, she was not stupid. In her previous life, she was also a fan of celebrities. She knew very well that celebrities who took the popular route did not have the right to be in a relationship. These people were willing to spend money on you because they treated you as their own child, their own husband and wife. In the eyes of these fans, wasn't he using their money to support his girlfriend? How could they tolerate this? Therefore, those who suddenly had relationships during the rising stage of their careers were mostly done for. It was precisely because Wen Jingping knew this that she had always announced to the public that she was still single. Her fans also believed her. But now, this report was telling them that she had a boyfriend, and she even brought her boyfriend to fight with someone. Then what were they? What were these male fans who had spent a lot of money on her and wanted to send her on the path of flowers? The previous scamming incident and the top 20 fighting incident had already helped Wen Jingping clear a lot of fans. Most of the fans left were brainless straight men who only cared about appearances. But no matter how brainless a straight man was, he couldn't stand a green grassland above his head. Chapter 321. Wen Jingping's fans and her own anti-fans could not be bothered to argue with them. One by one, they swarmed onto Wen Jingping's official account, demanding an explanation. While all this was happening, Wen Jingping was still angry that Su Yiyan had humiliated her in front of so many people. Just as she logged into her official account and was about to express her sadness, Su Yiyan saw a screen full of mockery and doubts. She almost fainted on the spot. However, this was just the beginning. Su Yiyan saw Wen Jingping's male fans rioting, and a hint of schadenfreude flashed across her eyes. In her previous life, Wen Jingping did not reveal her relationship with Hua Xiaofan to the public until her death. In the original novel, their relationship was only revealed later on when Wen Jingping's career was smooth sailing and she received the approval of the male lead's family. At that time, Wen Jingping had already been promoted to the throne of Best Actress. She had a lot of male confidants, and her position in the industry was unshakable. Not only did this matter not affect her career, but she also received a lot of blessings. Now the time was not right. Wen Jingping's reputation had not changed yet. Most importantly, some of her male confidants had not yet taken their positions, and some had already changed sides. The sudden revelation of their relationship was undoubtedly a fatal blow to her. Su Yiyan had just finished laughing when a familiar notification sound rang in her mind. Congratulations on stealing the female lead's golden finger. Progress plus 10. Current progress is 20. Please continue to work hard. Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes. Just by revealing their relationship, the progress has increased by 10. According to the system's evaluation, revealing the relationship of the male lead and female lead early will cause the female lead to lose the support of most of her fans. At the same time, it will also affect her future interactions with other important male supporting characters. Therefore, it is determined to be 10. It will affect her future interactions with other important male supporting characters? Su Yiyan thought about it and understood. In the original novel, Wen Jingping was indecisive and couldn't bear to hurt those who loved her. To put it bluntly, she was like a social butterfly, coming and going from one outstanding man to another. Apart from the male lead, she kept countless spare tires for herself in case of emergencies. The way she flirted with these spare tires was actually quite low class. She lied that she and Hua Xiaofan were just friends, or described Hua Xiaofan as her suitor. When these men developed feelings for her and became jealous of her intimate contact with Hua Xiaofan, she would then push the blame to her agency. She told them that her management company had asked her not to disclose her relationship with Hua Xiaofan to the public when her career was on the rise. That was why she had kept it a secret from them. She did not lie to them on purpose. At that time, the supporting male lead had already developed feelings for her and naturally couldn't bear to scold her. When he saw her weeping like a pear blossom in the rain, his heart also softened. He couldn't leave and could only willingly be her bootlicker spare tire. Now, Wen Jingping's trump card had already been broken and her reputation was more or less ruined. Unless it was those special lovers who like to make others jealous, if these people could still have any interactions with Wen Jingping, it would probably be Wen Jingping taking the initiative to be their bootlicker and not them rushing to be her protector god. If we start from this aspect, I'm afraid the current situation is still lacking. Su Yiyan rubbed her chin and pondered for a moment. She called the company's public relations department and asked them to find a group of Big V accounts to take the initiative to expose the matter between her and these two people. Chapter 322. Therefore, before the news of Wen Jingping trampling on her peers was over, a bunch of so-called insiders appeared one after another. They started to reveal the identities of the three protagonists in the report, as well as the love and hate between the three in the video. The onlookers dropped their jaws. Although the blogger has tried her best to explain the relationship between the three in a subtle and objective way, the man dated the second female lead when he was still engaged to the first female lead. He even took advantage of his father's birthday to ask the first female lead to break off their engagement in front of countless guests. He even pushed the first female lead down the stairs during the argument and sent her to the hospital? In summary, isn't it just a scumbag cheating mistress who spoils his concubine and neglects his wife? So this White Lotus is a mistress? Thank you to the class representative above. I knew there was nothing wrong with the blogger's description, but I kept feeling that something was off. I instantly felt that the man was a scumbag and the second female lead was a whore. I feel sorry for the first female lead. No wonder in the previous video, the second female lead pretended to apologize to the first female lead. When the first female lead asked her what she was sorry for, the second female lead immediately changed the topic. As a mistress, of course, she was embarrassed to say it in public. If she said it out loud, she would be scolded to death. She was embarrassed? If she was really embarrassed, she wouldn't have been a mistress. She didn't say it because she wanted people to think that she was the victim and lead the public to blame the first female lead. The funniest thing was that she actually accused the first female lead of taking revenge for a personal grudge and deliberately harmed her. Even if the first female lead harmed her, she deserved it. Not to mention that the other party didn't harm her at all. She's not capable enough, but she still wants to smear others to clear her name. What kind of a venomous woman is this? It's really chilling. When Hua Xiaofan received Wen Jingping's call for help, public opinion had already pinned him and Wen Jingping on the pillar of shame as a scumbag and a mistress. Hua Xiaofan had never suffered such humiliation in his life. He immediately hired a group of internet trolls to argue with this group of people. The internet trolls' strategy to clear their name was simple. They simply thought that the two of them were originally in a business marriage and had no feelings for each other. The man met his true love and broke off the engagement to pursue her bravely. There was nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, it was just like what Su Yiyan had predicted. The man didn't want the first female lead and wanted the second female lead instead. There must be something wrong with the first female lead that even her man couldn't stand it. She deserved to be cheated on. Such a whitewashing statement was, of course, rebuked. A business marriage should have integrity. Don't blame others for taking revenge on you. Seeing that this was not going to work, the fake reviewers turned to quibble that Hua Xiaofan was daring enough to pursue true love. To us of the. Do you think the whole world revolves around you now that you're the one who's talking? Su Yiyan couldn't help but burst out laughing when she saw this. She secretly sighed that some netizens were quite talented. They could always hit the nail on the head and hit the nail on the head. Just as she was about to continue watching these sources of happiness, the screen changed. Ling Xiaoqi's call request popped up. Su Yiyan didn't think much about it and picked it up. She heard her best friend's heart-wrenching roar as soon as the call connected. Yiyan now. Immediately. Immediately. Come and pick up your little bastard. If you're late, I can't guarantee that you'll see him alive. Chapter 323. Su Yiyan was stunned for a few seconds before she reacted. She opened her mouth and was about to say something, but Ling Xiaoqi had already hung up. Hung up? So what was she trying to do? Su Yiyan was dumbfounded. When Hua Chenhuan walked down the stairs, he saw his wife standing there in a daze. Her face was blank and inexplicably adorable. What's wrong? Su Yiyan woke up from a dream and said with a bitter face, Xiaoqi just called me and asked me to bring Dun Dun back now. If I'm late, I might not be able to see it alive. What did Dun Dun do to make her so angry? How would I know? She just said one sentence and hung up. Su Yiyan thought for a moment. Could it be that Dun Dun was too naughty and tore down her house? Haven't you thought? It might have something to do with Hua Hua. What can it have to do with Hua Hua? Su Yiyan stopped abruptly and turned to stare at Hua Chenhuan. A few seconds later, Su Yiyan could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. She shouted outside the courtyard, Uncle Zhang, prepare the car. It was originally Zui Yanbai who stayed at the old mansion to take care of Hua Chenhuan today. But Hua Chenhuan had something to ask him to do, so Yu Zian came over. Along the way, Su Yiyan urged Yu Zian several times as if she was on fire. Yu Zian didn't feel annoyed. He only found it funny. Don't be nervous, young madam. Miss Ling is your best friend. She won't do anything to Dun Dun even if she's angry. You don't understand. Su Yiyan sighed. Xiaoqi might be gentle and soft, but if she's really pissed off, no one can stop her. Su Yiyan held Hua Chenhuan's hand tightly and said sadly, I'm really worried that if we're late, she'll really stew Dun Dun into dog meat hot pot in her anger. Dog hot pot? As soon as Hua Chenhuan heard the word hot pot, she subconsciously thought of the hot pot Su Yiyan had made before and asked in a low voice, Is it delicious? Su Yiyan. Darling, wake up, that's our cub. Yu Zian. Although he was also very curious about this question, young master, to ask this question in front of young madam. A group of people rushed to Ling Xiaoqi's house full of worries. Before they entered the door, they heard Ling Xiaoqi's angry roar. Stop, 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 don't come over. If you dare to come closer, I will kill you. Do you know what Kacha means? It means. Su Yiyan's mouth twitched when he heard this, and he couldn't continue listening. He opened the door and rushed in. Okay, we're here. If there's anything, let's talk about it face to face and solve it face to face. Don't scare it. You're here? Ling Xiaoqi was stunned when she saw Su Yiyan. After she reacted, she hurriedly carried her Hua Hua a few meters away from them. You came at the right time. Take this little bastard away. Take him away. Su Yiyan glanced at Dun Dun, who had a full beard and tail, and heaved a sigh of relief. He picked it up from the ground. Dun Dun saw that its owner had come and cried out aggrievedly. It nestled in Su Yiyen's arms and looked at the Hua in Ling Xiaoqi's arms. Su Yiyen's mouth twitched slightly, and he said helplessly, "What happened?" "This little guy." It would have been better if Su Yiyen hadn't said anything. Ling Xiaoqi almost exploded on the spot when she heard this. "This little bastard, it. Ling Xiaoqi couldn't say anything for a long time. Su Yiyen frowned and said tentatively, "It completed the great harmony of life with the Hua. Chapter 324. Ling Xiaoqi, Hua Chenhuan and Yu Zian, who were following closely behind. What kind of great harmony was this? Ling Xiaoqi was thunderstruck by this description. It took her a few seconds to react, and she burst into tears on the spot. "Sob, sob, sob, my poor child. From now on, you're no longer the pure and innocent you from before." Su Yiyen, Hua Chenhuan. It turned out that Dun Dun had followed Ling Xiaoqi home for the past 2 days. Although it liked to hang out with Hua at first, it was still well behaved. In addition, Hua was stronger than it, so even if it had any ulterior motives, it would be suppressed in a matter of minutes. Ling Xiaoqi initially guarded against it and didn't let it get too close to Hua. Especially at night, it was basically locked in one room each. No matter how much Dun Dun scratched the door, it wouldn't easily let a wolf into the house. Ling Xiaoqi woke up early this morning. She was really sleepy in the afternoon, so she went into the bedroom to take a nap. Unexpectedly, when she woke up and walked out of the room, I saw this little bastard riding on top of our Hua. Ling Xiaoqi still felt stifled when she recalled the scene. If looks could kill, then this lustful short-legged brat would have been killed 1,000,000 times over by her. Su Yiyen also didn't expect that her silly dog would have such dumb luck. It actually succeeded. She immediately hugged Dun Dun and kissed it. She praised it sincerely. "Well done, Yu Zian, Hua Chenhuan, Su Yiyen." Ling Xiaoqi completely exploded. Su Yiyen's expression stiffened. She smiled awkwardly and said, "It's its fault. It's all its fault. How could you do this without permission? Are you a little hooligan? You're too impulsive. What did I teach you before? No matter who it is, you can't do this to anyone. You've really disappointed me. Dun Dun. How could you be a coward at such a critical moment?" Dun Dun, who was betrayed by its owner, could only turn around and look at its dog father. Hua Chenhuan received its pleading gaze, but silently looked away and pretended not to see anything. "Dun Dun. Didn't we agree to be each other's angels? How could you ignore me at a time like this?" "Of course, it's its fault. Otherwise, is it our Hua's fault?" Su Yiyen's good apology made Ling Xiaoqi's anger subside a little. But when he thought that from today onwards, his own child would no longer be a virgin, he still felt incomparably stifled. It's a pity that our Hua is still a baby. To think that she has to encounter such a thing. What if she gets pregnant? Why is our Hua's life so hard? Me too. How could I have been so soft-hearted and brought it back? I knew it was a troublesome little bastard, but I still brought it back. I really brought a wolf into the house. I regret it so much. Ling Xiaoqi's face turned pale. She seemed to have imagined the terrible future. She looked at Su Yiyen and Su Yiyen with resentment. Therefore, in the next 10 minutes or so, Su Yiyen and Hua Chenhuan experienced in advance the terrible experience of their brats falling in love at such a young age and impregnating the girl's belly. It was a terrible experience of causing the girl's parents to fall in love with her and lose all their face. Yu Zian stood at the door and looked at the two high-spirited people who no one dared to look down on. However, when they were read, they lowered their heads in shame and repented. Not only did he not feel the slightest bit of sympathy, he even felt a little amused. Chapter 325. Although Ling Xiaoqi was angry, she knew that what was done could not be undone. What was done had been done. After grumbling for a long time and venting the anger in his heart, he gave up and sighed. Forget it. I overreacted a little. You can take it back." Su Yiyen was relieved to see that she had calmed down. He threw Dun Dun into Hua Chenhuan's arms and quickly stepped forward to hold Ling Xiaoqi's hand. Dun Dun was indeed in the wrong, but what's done can't be undone. There's no point in dwelling on this, right? They know each other very well, And our Dun Dun likes Hua Hua so much. Hua Hua is also very protective of our Dun Dun. Isn't this a good thing? Ling Xiaoqi was a little angry when she heard this. She snorted and said, "Your Zai Zai is a male, so of course you'd say that. If we really want to talk about this, our Hua Hua is the one who's taken advantage of, okay? What's so good about it? At the end of the day, you're just lusting after its body. Men really are all bad." The two men present were speechless. It was fine that they usually took the blame for those scumbags who had no bottom line. After all, they were still a species. Now, this little b** starred of a different species caused trouble. Why did it have to be them as well? It was so hard to be a man. Su Yiyan was also a little amused by Ling Xiaoqi's indiscriminate attack. However, he also knew that this was not the time to argue with her. He had to appease her. Thus he agreed. Yes, yes, yes. Men are all bad. Yu Zian, who was standing at the door and watching the show with relish, narrowed his eyes and glanced stiffly at his young master. Seeing that his expression did not change, but there seemed to be an inexplicable dangerous atmosphere around him, he silently lit a candle for Su Yiyan in his heart. Su Yiyan finally managed to pacify Ling Xiaoqi, so he didn't want to agitate her by putting Dun Dun in her house, so he brought the troublesome dog back home. Before he left, Dun Dun wailed a few times in an attempt to arouse the sympathy of his beloved and her master. Unfortunately, Ling Xiaoqi was still angry, and Hua Hua seemed to be on its master's side unconditionally. It didn't even look at Ling Xiaoqi. All right, don't look like an abandoned husband. Su Yiyan rubbed the back of Dun Dun's furry neck and smiled helplessly. You're really brave. You've only been at someone's house for 2 days and you dare to bully their dog. Luckily, Xiaoqi has a good temper. If it were me, I would have thrown you out long ago to fend for you. Dun Dun wailed and looked at Su Yiyan with incomparable resentment. It didn't forget someone's betrayal just now. Su Yiyan saw that it didn't have any remorse, so he narrowed his eyes and said maliciously, I suddenly remembered that in this weather, dog meat hot pot is the best. It dispels the cold and nourishes the body. Why don't we eat this tonight? Woof. Dun Dun sensed the danger keenly and screamed, its eyes full of complaints. Su Yiyan was angry and amused. He reached out and patted the head of this dramatic dog. Now you know how to be afraid? If we didn't come quickly just now, I'm afraid you would have become Xiaoqi's meal now. Dun Dun wailed a few more times miserably. It lay in Su Yiyan's arms and mourned its quickly passing love. It was like a little old man who had experienced thousands of sales. Su Yiyan let it be sad and sighed helplessly. As soon as he turned his head, he met Hua Chunhuan's teasing eyes. Are there no good men? Su Yiyan. I'm not, I can explain. Chapter 326. Su Yiyan laughed dryly and said with a fawning expression, Xiaoqi's situation is special, so she will occasionally be a little sexist. Don't take it to heart. Hua Chunhuan was not so easy to fool. I only take your words to heart. You said that there are no good men. I had no choice but to agree with her. Really? Su Yiyan looked at Hua Chunhuan's face, carefully pulled his sleeve, and tentatively asked, Are you angry? Hua Chunhuan was really not angry. As Su Yiyan said, she had no choice but to agree with her just now. She was not really dissatisfied with him, so he would not be angry because of this. But when he heard Su Yiyan ask him softly if he was angry, and her tone was full of nervousness and fawning, Hua Chunhuan's eyes darkened slightly, and he admitted shamelessly, Yes. Are you really angry? Su Yiyan immediately moved closer. Don't be angry. I promise I won't say that again. Hua Chunhuan's expression did not change, and he did not speak. Su Yiyan blinked and continued to probe. Then what should I do to make you not angry? Hua Chunhuan still did not speak and just stared at her. What did this mean? Su Yiyan frowned and thought for a moment. Finally, she gritted her teeth and leaned over to kiss Hua Chunhuan's lips in front of Yu Zian. A light flashed in Hua Chunhuan's eyes, but the expression on his face still did not change. Su Yiyan's heart skipped a beat when she saw this. Could it be that she was wrong? Even this method didn't work? Before she could think more, she heard Hua Chunhuan say unsatisfactorily, just once. Su Yiyan, Yu Zian, who thought he had misheard. Su Yiyan did not know whether to laugh or cry, But he also breathed a sigh of relief and said without any pressure, "Then let's kiss a few more times." After saying that, she took the initiative to lean over and kiss him a few more times. Every time, it was a kiss on the lips. Wuxian, who had been bullied for no reason, was speechless. Hey, that's enough. Don't bully a single dog like this. Dun, who was still in Su Yiyen's arms. That's enough. Was this really appropriate in front of a lovelorn dog that had just been heartbroken? Dun, who had just been brought back, once again had the idea of running away from home. This heartless world had truly broken its heart. Su Yiyen kissed her several times before stopping. He smiled and said, "You're not angry anymore?" "Yes." Su Yiyen breathed a sigh of relief. Then, as if he had thought of something, he stared into Hua Chunhuan's eyes and said with a faint smile, "You are indeed not a good person." Wuxian, who had thought that this matter was finally over. "Young madam, are you crazy? You finally managed to coax him, and now you're saying this again? Are you planning to coax him again?" Hua Chunhuan was stunned. He thought that Su Yiyen had sensed that he was pretending to be angry and had angered her instead. Just as he was about to explain, he heard Su Yiyen say, "You are a good husband." Wuxian was speechless. "Do you guys like to take such long pauses when talking?" A faint blush flashed across Hua Chunhuan's face. Although he didn't say anything, Su Yiyen could see the pure joy in his eyes. He was really easy to coax. Su Yiyen couldn't help but laugh. However, she slowly reached out and took the initiative to hold Hua Chunhuan's hand. Although these words were said to coax him, they were also from the bottom of her heart. In her eyes, there was no better husband in the world than Hua Chunhuan. And in the future, if they could have children of their own, he would definitely be the best father in the world. Chapter 327. Su Yiyen and the others picked up the troublemaker Zai Zai and went home. The atmosphere was warm and loving. On the other hand, Hua Xiaofan was not so lucky. This time, Su Yiyen was determined to make Hua Xiaofan and Su Yiyen suffer. Even if she could not make them fall into eternal damnation, she wanted to teach them a lesson. Didn't Hua Xiaofan buy the Internet Water Army? They bought it too. Hua Xiaofan and the others were not in the right to begin with. Once Su Yiyen's Internet Water Army bought the Internet Water Army, they attacked them directly. Their sarcasm and ridicule were 10 times, no, 100 times more interesting than the Internet Water Armies. In just half a day, the Internet Water Army was defeated by the Internet Water Army with the help of passers-by. It was worth mentioning that the ones who contributed the most were not Internet Water Army or passers-by, but Wen Jingping's male fans. These people were once attracted by Wen Jingping's face and her gentle personality. They fought for her at the forefront of the anti-defamation campaign. However, all of this was based on the premise that Wen Jingping was single and everything she showed was real. Now, these people realized that everything they thought was fake. Her being single was fake, and this woman's so-called gentleness and kindness was also fake. Other than her face, everything else about her in front of the camera was fake. They hated her now as much as they liked her in the past. Her existence was a constant reminder of their past stupidity. Hua Xiaofan looked at the screen full of mockery and curses. His face was gloomy to the extreme. His resentment towards Su Yiyen and the Su family reached its peak. Even now, he still did not feel that what he did in the past was wrong. He just liked a woman and did not want to accept his family's arrangement to marry a woman he did not like. Why did everyone have to go against him? Compared to Hua Xiaofan, who was full of anger, Wen Jingping was more terrified when she saw these comments. Mistress? Why did everyone treat her as a mistress? She was not a mistress. She and Hua Xiaofan were clearly in love with each other. Why did she call them a scumbag, a slut, and a two-timing mistress? This was completely different from the perfect love between Cinderella and the prince that she had imagined in her mind. Weren't the fiancés of the male protagonists in romance novels all vicious female supporting characters who would eventually be condemned as cannon fodder? Their marriage was just a business alliance. There was no emotional foundation. She was Hua Xiaofeng's true love. How could these people scold her without knowing anything? She didn't do anything wrong. It had to be said that from a certain point of view, these two people could be considered a perfect match. How similar were their perspectives when thinking about problems? However, now that things had escalated to this point, it was no longer something they could control. Hua Xiaofeng looked at Wen Jingping's deathly pale face and thought of how she had risked her life to save his life a few days ago. His heart softened and he comforted her softly. It's okay, it's okay. These people are just jealous of us. Their words are clear and logical, but if they really meet us, they may be even more resolute than us. Moreover, don't be fooled by how fiercely they are scolding us now. After a few days, they will definitely forget about it. It was originally something that had nothing to do with them. They will just talk about it and forget about it the moment they turn around. Really? Wen Jingping looked at Hua Xiaofeng with reddened eyes. She had lived 2 lives, but she was not as naive as Hua Xiaofeng. Perhaps Hua Xiaofeng's words were not without reason. These people who were following the trend and scolding them now would soon forget about this matter. However, the internet had memories. For those who did not like her, if she did not handle this matter well, it would be a stain on her life. Chapter 328. Wen Jingping was ambitious and wanted to be the best. Naturally, she would not allow such a deadly dark history to exist. But I feel bad when I see them scolding you like this, especially when they're not only scolding you but also your parents. I'm afraid that your parents will have a bad impression of me because of this. They won't. Hua Xiaofeng subconsciously wanted to refute, but as soon as the words left his mouth, he remembered the scene of his mother scolding him in the hospital that day. His expression immediately became subtle. We can't let them continue scolding you like this. When Wen Jingping saw that he was persuaded by her, she quickly added, if things go wrong, it might affect the company. Do you want to ask Uncle in advance and see if he has any other ideas? Hua Xiaofeng was young after all. In addition, he had been spoiled since he was a child and had not had much experience in life. He basically went down the wrong path without any direction. Wen Jingping hoped that Hua Xiaofeng's father would be better than him and help the 2 of them settle this matter. Hua Xiaofeng heard Wen Jingping's words and felt that they made sense. He immediately called Hua Qihan. The 2 of them had placed all their hopes on Hua Qihan, but they did not know that Hua Qihan could not even protect himself at this time. A few hours ago, the Hua Corporation had spent a lot of effort to acquire an investment site. Suddenly, the site of a suspected colony of extinct creatures was unearthed. This matter was comparable to the ancient Earth's imperial palace being excavated. Not long after the news broke, geological experts from all over the world rushed over. As early as when humans found this habitable planet with great difficulty, many people were very curious. This habitable planet was rich in resources, but they had not seen the existence of human-like beings. Was this a primitive planet that had never been developed before? If it wasn't, then had it experienced the same changes of eras as Earth before this? Before that, what occupied the top of the food chain? Many biogeologists stubbornly believed that exploring these things could better determine the future direction of human development, so that this beautiful habitable planet would not repeat the mistakes of ancient Earth. Therefore, once this matter was exposed, it immediately received widespread attention. The original construction team had to temporarily stop work and wait for follow-up inspection and confirmation. Hua Qihan's face was as black as the bottom of a pot when he heard this. He swept all the documents on his desk on the spot. Who is in charge of this land? Didn't you ask someone to do an on-site inspection before writing a plan to buy land? Why are these things dug out from the ground? The secretary, who was forced to bear the brunt of his boss's anger, stood on the side with a pale face. After a while, he said in a trembling voice, the person in charge of this land seems to be Captain Hua. Hua Qihan's eyes narrowed slightly. Only then did he remember that when Hua Xiaofeng first entered the company's senior management had questioned his ability. After all, Hua Qihan only had one son. Naturally, he couldn't bear to see others criticize him, so he handed over an important project in the company to him. He asked him to focus on inspecting a few pieces of land, make an evaluation report based on the results of the inspection, and finally decide on a piece of land as the cornerstone of the project. After all, this was his son's first performance result after entering the company. Although Hua Qihan helped guide him, he couldn't do too much on the surface. Otherwise, even if it was really done in the end, in the eyes of others, he would be the one who opened the door for his son and not Hua Xiaofeng's own ability. Chapter 329. Therefore, except for some guidance in the early stages, Hua Qihan did not show up from beginning to end. Hua Xiaofeng was in charge of the field inspection and survey of those lands. After reading the evaluation report he handed over, Hua Qihan also secretly checked the competitors participating in the bidding out of caution. He found that many big companies were also very optimistic about this piece of land and were trying their best to win it. Naturally, he thought that this land did indeed have great development prospects. When he learned that Hua Xiaofeng had won this land, he was happy for a long time. He felt that his son could win against those old foxes and give him a lot of face. But now, Hua Qihan wished he could go back in time and stab this scourge to death. Then he would stab himself to death. Where's Hua Xiaofeng? He made such a big mistake. Where is he now? Hua Qihan slammed the table loudly. As his father, you don't even know where he is. How would I know? The secretary silently complained in his heart, but he said, Team leader who took sick leave 2 days ago and has not returned to cancel his leave. He is not in the company for the time being. When Hua Qihan heard the words, sick leave, he immediately thought of the terrible things Hua Xiaofeng had done 2 days ago and became even angrier. Contact him right now and ask him to come to the company. If he doesn't come, he doesn't have to come for the rest of his life. Okay, I'll go right away. When the secretary heard this, he felt as if he had been granted amnesty. He turned around and was about to run out when Hua Qihan's cell phone rang. Seeing the caller ID on the screen, Hua Qihan frowned slightly and shouted, Wait, you don't have to go. He called me. Hua Qihan thought that Hua Xiaofeng had seen the news and knew that something big had happened in the company. Only then did he remember to call him. Unexpectedly, as soon as the call was connected, Hua Xiaofeng took the initiative to explain the ins and outs of the matter and begged his father to help clean up the mess. If this had happened under normal circumstances, Hua Qihan might have been angry, but he might have helped him clean up the mess. But it was different now. Hua Qihan's mind went blank when he heard his son's words. What did you say? You took that woman to Su Yiyan, and your previous engagement with her was exposed. Now, everyone is scolding you and that woman? Hua Xiaofeng did not realize that something was wrong. He only thought that Hua Qihan was angered by the curses he had just said, so he quickly added fuel to the fire. Yes, Dad, you don't know how vicious that B*TCH Su Yiyan is. She insulted little Ping inside and out in front of everyone, and she even got someone to record it and post it on the internet, causing others to dig up all our secrets. It's fine if a lot of people are scolding me and little Ping, but now they're scolding you and my mom. Hua Qihan was so angry that he almost fell back. Is there something wrong with your brain? Don't you know how much the Su family hates you and that B*TCH beside you after the engagement was called off? You even insisted on bringing people to the Su family. If they don't insult you, do you think they'll flatter you nicely? Hua Xiaofeng did not expect Hua Qihan to have such a reaction. He was stunned for a few seconds and became angry. He said unhappily, Dad, how can you speak for that bitch? It's obviously that bitch who went too far. Hua Xiaofeng was still cursing on the other end. Hua Qihan was so angry that his whole body was trembling. His vision turned black. Finally, his body swayed and he fell back. President! President! Someone, the president fainted. Call an ambulance. Chapter 330. The secretary's heart-wrenching roar resounded throughout the Hua Corporation building, and the president's office was instantly in chaos. At the same time, Su Yiyan's mind rang with the system's notification again. Congratulations to the host for snatching the female protagonist's golden finger. Progress plus 10. Current progress. 30. Victory is in sight. Please keep up the good work. Su Yiyan was slightly stunned, her face full of surprise and confusion. What happened? Why did it add another 10 points? The host can search for ancient creature ruins discovered at Hua Corporation's construction site. Ancient creature ruins? Su Yiyan was even more surprised, and quickly searched for the news according to the system's instructions. Sure enough, this news was already at the top of the trending news list, and it was all red. Ancient creature ruins discovered at Hua Corporation's construction site? Doesn't that mean their project has to be suspended? What were they planning to do with this land? To develop real estate, and they have already invested a lot of money in the initial investment. Su Yiyan raised her eyebrows and gloated. So, Hua Qihan is in trouble? According to my understanding, the The main person in charge of this project is the male lead, Hua Xiaofan. Hua Xiaofan is in charge of this project? Su Yiyan was shocked again. In her opinion, Hua Xiaofan was a nobody who despised dogs. Hua Qihan had actually given him full responsibility for such an important project. He must have lost his mind. If this matter was blown up, the Hua Corporation would definitely suffer heavy losses. As the main person in charge, Hua Xiaofan could not absolve himself from the blame. As the company's president, Hua Qihan could not escape responsibility no matter who was involved in this matter. Not to mention that the person involved was his own son. He would probably be implicated to death. The Hua Corporation is Hua Xiaofeng's confidence and reliance. Now that he has caused such a big mess, it is very likely that he will be kicked out of the Hua Corporation. Even if he is not kicked out, the company's internal staff will definitely be full of opinions about him, and his reputation will plummet. Is that why the system added 10 points to my score? Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes, as if she had sensed something. Hua Xiaofeng's female lead halo will also be affected? Male and female are originally one and complement each other. However, as the main character of the book, the female lead has a stronger halo than the male lead. Su Yiyan didn't think too much about it. She could tell that Hua Xiaofan and Wen Jingping were bound together for good or ill. While they were talking, another piece of news popped up on Su Yiyan's phone. The CEO of the Hua Corporation has been sent to the hospital. He is suspected to have been angered by the eldest son of the family Hua. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh when she saw this, which alarmed Hua Chenhuan, who was sitting beside her. What are you looking at that makes you smile so happily? Hua Xiaofeng is in charge of a piece of land in the Hua family that has been found to contain ancient biological ruins. If this matter is confirmed, the Hua Corporation will probably lose a lot of money. Because of this, Hua Qihan seems to have been angered by Hua Xiaofeng and was sent to the hospital. After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she saw that Hua Chenhuan's expression didn't change. She looked as if she had expected this. A thought flashed through her mind, and she asked in a low voice, "Does this matter have anything to do with you?" Hua Chenhuan's eyes moved slightly, and she nodded and said, "Yes." A trace of understanding flashed through Su Yiyan's eyes. She knew that this matter was too coincidental. Hua Xiaofeng had just suffered a big loss because of her, and now the Hua Corporation and Hua Qihan were in trouble. Did you send someone to make this a big deal? More than that. He had sent someone to expose this matter and make it a big deal, but he had done far more than that. Chapter 331. Su Yiyan was silent for a long time after hearing Hua Chenhuan's words. Hua Chenhuan noticed the change in her expression. His eyes darkened as he probed. "Do you think I'm too heartless?" Su Yiyan looked up at him in confusion. Heartless. Then, as if she had heard a joke, she couldn't help but chuckle. Why would you think that? Do you think I don't know what kind of people Hua Qihan and his family are? I'm not a saint. I won't sympathize with them at a time like this. Besides. Su Yiyan moved closer to Hua Chenhuan and looked straight into his eyes. I believe you. You must have a reason for everything you do. Whether it's for yourself or something else, I will believe you unconditionally and support you. Hua Chenhuan's heart was finally at ease because of Su Yiyan's words, and his eyes were filled with warmth. Now that this matter has become so big, how will it be dealt with in the future? If this was the only matter, Hua Qihan might choose to have a good talk with these geologists and get some compensation from them to make up for the company's losses. Su Yiyan understood the meaning behind Hua Chenhuan's words and asked curiously, "Can't we do that now?" Did you forget that you just exposed Hua Xiaofeng and that woman? Su Yiyan blinked and looked puzzled. What's the connection between these two things? The group of people you hired not only scolded Hua Xiaofeng and that woman, but also Hua Xiaofeng's upbringing and the Hua Corporation. Su Yiyan didn't expect Hua Chenhuan to know that she had hired a group of people. She blushed and muttered in embarrassment. How do you know everything? I'm worried that you'll be wronged, so I naturally have to pay more attention to everything. Hua Chenhuan said this seriously, but Su Yiyan smelled a hint of sweetness in his words, and the smile on her lips couldn't help but widen. Humph. Who told him to call his father the person in charge of the Hua Corporation when he came to cause trouble for me? He even threatened our company's security personnel to teach them a lesson. I want to see who will teach who a lesson. Hua Chenhuan loved Su Yayan's arrogant and vengeful look. He smiled and said, "Originally, these two things really have nothing to do with each other. But because of the group of people, and what you said just now, Hua Xiaofeng used the Hua Corporation and Hua Qihan's name to threaten them in the video. This made many people doubt the Hua family's upbringing, and it also affected the Hua Corporation's reputation. At this time, the Hua Corporation suddenly discovered ancient biological relics in the development zone. If the Hua Corporation also announced that they wanted a huge amount of compensation, what would the consequences be?" Su Yayan came to a sudden realization. Those righteous people on the internet will definitely say that they are greedy, black-hearted capitalists. The bigger the company, the more attention they pay to their reputation. Hua Qihan originally had a chance to make up for this mistake. Now that he has been affected by Hua Xiaofeng's matter, there is only one path in front of him. What is it? Donate that land unconditionally to protect the company's reputation. Sacrificing a rook to save the king was indeed the only way, but will he do that? He has no choice. If he doesn't do this, he will destroy the Hua Corporation's foundation. Even if he doesn't want to, there will be people who will force him to do it. But will the company's senior executives let him make this kind of decision? Hua Chenhuan narrowed his eyes and chuckled. They will. They know very well that this is the only way. But knowing is one thing. It is impossible for them not to feel resentment. Chapter 332. After listening to Hua Chenhuan's words, Su Yayan was silent for a long time. Hua Chenhuan saw the change in her expression. His eyes darkened slightly and he asked tentatively, "Do you think I'm too cruel?" Su Yayan looked up at him in confusion. Cruel? Immediately, as if she had heard a joke, she couldn't help but chuckle. Why would you think so? Don't I know what kind of people Hua Qihan and his family are? I'm not a saint. How can I sympathize with them at this time and... Su Yayan suddenly leaned in front of Hua Chenhuan and looked straight into his eyes. I believe you. You must have your own reasons for doing everything. Whether this reason is for yourself or for other reasons, I will believe in you unconditionally and support you. Hua Chenhuan's heart finally relaxed because of Su Yayan's words, and there was a little more warmth in his eyes. This matter has become so big now. How will it be dealt with in the future? If it was only this matter, Hua Qihan might choose to have a good talk with these geological experts and get some compensation to make up for the company's losses. Su Yayan understood the meaning of Hua Chenhuan's words and asked curiously, "Can't he do that now?" You forgot that you just exposed the matter between Hua Xiaofeng and that woman. Su Yayan blinked and looked puzzled. Is there any necessary connection between these two things? The group of ghostwriters you hired not only scolded Hua Xiaofeng and that woman, but also involved Hua Xiaofeng's upbringing and the Hua family. Su Yayan didn't expect that Hua Chenhuan even knew that she had hired ghostwriters. She blushed slightly and muttered embarrassedly, "How do you know everything? I was worried that you would be wronged. So naturally, I had to keep an eye on everything." Hua Chenhuan said these words in a serious manner, but Su Yayan smelled a trace of sweetness from it, and the smile on the corner of her mouth could not help but widen. Humph! Who told him to claim that his father is the person in charge of the Hua Corporation when he came looking for trouble with me? He even threatened our company's security personnel to teach them a lesson. I'd like to see who's the one who's humiliating the other. Hua Chenhuan loved Su Yayan's vengeful look. She smiled and said, "Originally, these two things were indeed unrelated. However, because of the influence of the internet water army and what you just said about Hua Xiaofeng using the name of the family Hua and Hua Qihan in the video, many people began to doubt the upbringing of the Hua family. It also affected the Hua family's reputation. At this time, it was suddenly revealed that the Hua Corporation's development zone had excavated the remains of ancient creatures. If the Hua Corporation were to ask for a huge compensation at this time, what would the consequences be?" Su Yayan was suddenly enlightened. The righteous people on the internet will definitely say that they are greedy and black-hearted capitalists blinded by greed. The bigger the company, the more it values its reputation. Hua Qihan originally had a chance to make up for this mistake. Now that he has been affected by Hua Xiaofeng's matter, there is only one way in front of him. What? Donate that land unconditionally to protect the company's reputation. Abandoning the rook to save the king was indeed the only way, but Will he do that? He has no choice. If he doesn't do that, he will destroy the foundation of the Hua Corporation. Even if he doesn't want to, someone will force him to do it. But will the company's senior management allow him to make such a decision? Hua Chunhuan narrowed her eyes and chuckled. They will. They know very well that this is the only way. But knowing is one thing. It's impossible for them not to be resentful. Chapter 333. This mess was caused by Hua Xiaofan. As his father, Hua Qihan naturally had to help him clean up, but this would harm the interests of most people. Hua Qihan had originally hoped that Hua Xiaofan would do something big to win over people's hearts. In the end, Hua Xiaofan had offended everyone. It was conceivable that after this incident, Hua Qihan would be impeached by the company's senior management. It was unknown whether he could still hold the position of the head of the Hua Group. Su Yiyan quickly understood the meaning of Hua Chunhuan's words. She secretly sighed that giving birth and teaching children was also a skill. If she accidentally raised a debt collector like Hua Xiaofan, not only would she not be able to enjoy her family life, but she might also lose her chastity in her later years. She wondered if Hua Qihan was so angry that he wanted to stuff her back into Mrs. Hua's womb to be reborn. After sighing, Su Yiyan seemed to think of something. She raised her eyebrows and said, "You didn't expect this early on, so you asked someone to expose this matter at this time, did you?" Hua Chunhuan smiled. "I mainly wanted to vent for you." She had initially set up this trap to trap Hua Xiaofeng's family, but it was also good to expose this matter at this time. It was one thing to have a long-term plan to take back the Hua Group, but the most important thing was that they had touched someone they shouldn't have and touched his bottom line. Su Yiyan snorted and said proudly and happily, "You have a sweet mouth. I hope that Hua Qihan's family will be hurt this time and won't jump in front of me in the future. Don't be afraid. We'll deal with them every time they come. Let's see if their blood is thicker or my knife is faster." Su Yiyan was stunned. It took a while for her to react to what Hua Chunhuan had said. She laughed out loud. "Now that you mention it, I kind of hope that they will come a few more times." Hua Chunhuan's eyes flashed slightly, and she said jokingly, "You want to see them in a sorry state so much?" "Yes. Then I'll find someone to broadcast it to you on the day they are impeached." "Okay." Su Yiyan reacted only after responding. She turned her head to look at Hua Chunhuan in confusion. "Why did you get someone to broadcast this live? Don't tell me. You have people in the Hua Corporation?" Hua Chunhuan gave her a meaningful smile but did not answer her directly. Su Yiyan thought about it carefully. If he didn't have people in the Hua family, how could Hua Chunhuan know about Hua Qihan's family's movements so quickly and in detail? As for who this person was, Hua Chunhuan didn't want to tell her, so she didn't ask. The process wasn't the most important thing, but the result was. Hua Chunhuan and Su Yiyan had just arrived home when the Hua Corporation's incident was in an uproar. It was worth mentioning that Hua Chunhuan suddenly felt her lower limbs twitch at noon today. Although it was very slight, Su Yiyan was still very happy. This meant that her efforts during this period were indeed effective. Hua Chunhuan's necrotic nerves were waking up little by little. Even if the awakening process might take a long time, and the process would be more complicated and difficult, at least the two of them saw hope. Su Yiyan could never forget Hua Chunhuan's shocked, confused, flustered, and perturbed expression when she felt the movement in her lower limbs. At that moment, Su Yiyan was excited and inevitably felt a little distressed. In order to celebrate this matter and let Hua Chunhuan feel some sense of reality, Su Yiyan decided to cook a big meal to celebrate. For this reason, the audience who had been waiting for Su Yiyan's live broadcast room finally saw someone's long-awaited live broadcast. Chapter 334. You're finally here. Fortunately, I didn't give up. I knew it. The early bird gets the worm. The hard-working child will always be able to wait for the streamer. Sob. Sob. The streamer has been neglecting her job ever since she got married. Originally, she only updated once a day, once every 3 days, and once a week. Now, I'm satisfied if she can update once every half a month. I feel wronged. The streamer is really the most irresponsible streamer I've ever seen. She only broadcasted twice a month after getting married. Doesn't she know that no matter how popular the streamer is, it's easy to be forgotten without exposure? Has the audience all run away? As a true fan of the streamer, I really want to persuade the person above to understand that the streamer and her husband are newlyweds after their wedding. It's inevitable that the audience will be left out. As an audience, I really want to say, let's go, let's all go. That way, I'll have a chance at the streamer's lucky draw. The person above. Well said. I actually think so too. After experiencing all kinds of things in the previous live broadcast room, coupled with the fact that she opened a shop in reality, the business was booming, and the demand exceeded the supply. Moreover, the positive rating was as high as 99.9%. The number of followers in Su Yiyen's live broadcast room had gone straight to 7 digits, almost breaking through 9 digits. She could be regarded as the veritable #1 streamer on the website. Who knew how many people's eyes were red? Su Yiyen restarted her live broadcast after a long hiatus. All of a sudden, more than half of the overall traffic of the entire website was absorbed, and a large wave of new traffic was introduced at the same time. This group of people was eyeing covetously, waiting for Su Yiyen to finish her live broadcast to enter the lucky draw. They couldn't wait for more people to leave so that their chances of winning the lottery would be greatly increased. Of course, not everyone was kind to Su Yiyen's absence during this period. Under a lot of complaints, there were also some sour ridicule, such as, "This person is arrogant when she's popular. Other streamers live for 3 hours a day, hundreds of hours a month, and don't even have a day off. The streamer, on the other hand, only broadcasts for a few hours every 10 days or half a month. The most ridiculous thing is that the update frequency is also pushed every time she broadcasts. Hee. Does the streamer have some unspeakable relationship with the higher-ups of the live broadcast platform? Finally, there's someone who understands. If I remember correctly, there's a requirement for the length of the live stream every month when the host signs a contract with the platform, right? It's good enough that the platform didn't sue a streamer who broadcasts twice a month, but they actually rejected her. Could it be that she has some kind of PY deal with the company's higher-ups? This kind of sour tone, as well as the inexplicable and consistent reasons for the blame, just by looking at it, it was obvious that the streamers who were jealous of Su Yiyen had deliberately hired the water army to slander her. There were also some angry customers who couldn't get a reservation in Su Yiyen's medicinal cuisine restaurant. They gritted their teeth and jumped up and down. The good reviews of the streamer's physical store were probably paid by the water army. I used my ID to make a reservation. If there were too many people, I wouldn't have been able to make a reservation. Why did they say that they didn't support ID verification? Is this discrimination against ordinary consumers? If it was the former, the fans would spontaneously attack the other party until they were speechless, and Hua Chenhuan would also have her account banned. If it was the latter, although Hua Chenhuan would also have her account banned, she posted an explanation at the top of the live broadcast room. Mountain Yu Fu Su. The medicinal cuisine restaurant will not accept viewers whose accounts have been banned. The medicinal cuisine restaurant will also not accept viewers who have slandered the streamer more than twice on major public forums, including their families. I hope everyone knows. Chapter 335. After that, she sent countless tips to ensure that her message was hung in the most prominent position in the live broadcast room for everyone to see. When this announcement came out, the professional anti-water army was immediately silenced. No one could guarantee that their own family members would suffer from 3 disasters and 6 diseases. When would they need help from others? Previously, they kept jumping around on the internet because they were not afraid of being exposed. Now, the other party has directly stripped you of your identity and blocked your last path. Not only did they not have a share in the lucky draw in the live broadcast room, but they could also forget about the medicinal cuisine in real life. Didn't they hate her? That was her shop, so they could forget about the food she made. If they let her go, they would also let themselves go. Most of the accounts that had been banned before and were now jumping around were people who had borrowed their family members' identities to register new accounts. Now, even their own family members were blacklisted. Not only that, but other family members might also be blacklisted. This directly led to many people who wanted to make a reservation at the restaurant, but they could not even pass the identity verification. After asking around a little, she found out that there was such a thing. When she went back, She pulled out the scourge who harmed others and herself and gave them a beating. Of course, this was all in the future. Su Yayan was preparing to make a lot of things today, and she needed more materials. When she took out all these things, the live broadcast room was already filled with complaints from the audience and the trolls looking for trouble. Then, she saw the explanation sent by Hua Chenhuan. Knowing that he was protecting her, she only felt sweet in her heart and did not care about those negative comments. She only said to the very sad audience who were waiting to be fed, "Recently, I've been busy with the wedding and the medicinal cuisine, so my live broadcast time has been reduced a lot. But from today onwards, I will try to find time to continue live broadcasting in the morning or at night. It's just that the duration of each broadcast may not be as long as before." Su Yayan did not have as much time as before. During the day, she had to go to the management company, and in the afternoon, she had to remotely place orders for the customers who had made reservations at the medicinal cuisine restaurant. She could only find time in the morning and at night. She also had to consider her time with Hua Chenhuan. Thinking about it, she had no choice but to shorten the time and let the audience who were watching her live stream suffer. Perhaps it was because Su Yayan had stood the audience up for too long, but when they heard her words, not only did they not feel disappointed, they even became excited. Is the host finally going to be hardworking? As long as the host is willing to do a live broadcast, you can do it at any time and for as long as you want. Seeing this, Su Yayan smiled and went straight to the point. "Thank you for your understanding. Today, we will make a few simple medicinal dishes that are suitable for people with muscle atrophy and who need calcium and bone supplements." When Hua Chenhuan heard the words muscle atrophy and calcium nourishment, she immediately guessed that these dishes were made for her. A smile immediately appeared on her face. First, we're going to make chestnut, corn, and pork rib soup. The ingredients are relatively simple. It's just chestnuts, pork ribs, corn, and a part of the broth I brought back from the shop. As soon as Su Yayan's voice fell, a few questions floated on the bullet screen. What's broth? Broth is the soup left behind by chicken soup after a long period of boiling. This kind of broth can have a very good freshness effect when used to stew noodles. It will make the noodles taste better. As Su Yayan spoke, she cut the pork ribs into pieces and threw them into the pot to soak in water. Then, she took them out for later use. Chapter 336. There's a saying in ancient Earth that goes, "Make up for what you lack." Bones are rich in calcium, protein, and collagen. Eating more can replenish calcium and strengthen bones. As mentioned before, chestnuts can nourish the kidneys and strengthen the waist. It also has a certain effect on bone loosening. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a loud sound of something being put into the pot, and the fragrance of scallions and ginger wafted out. Then, he added pork ribs, corn, chestnuts, and the stock that he had prepared before. He covered the pot and boiled it until it was cooked. While boiling the soup, let's stir-fry 3 more dishes. Scrambled eggs with wood ears, stir-fried pork loin with chives and walnuts, and stir-fried river prawns with peas. These 3 dishes are all home-cooked dishes that nourish the kidneys, especially stir-fried pork loin with chives and walnuts. It also has a certain effect on bone loosening. Scrambled eggs with wood ears is more suitable for people with muscle atrophy. Su Yayan's hands were very fast. In just a few minutes, he had finished arranging all the ingredients and stir-fried them one by one. Suddenly, the live broadcast room was filled with smoke, and the fragrance of the stir-fried dishes wafted out. The audience in the live broadcast room and the servants outside all stopped what they were doing and swallowed their saliva. By the time the dishes were done, the soup was almost ready. Su Yayan tasted the soup and turned off the fire. When he looked up, he saw people cursing with righteous indignation on the bullet screen. Su Yayan took a closer look and realized that some of the people who had their accounts banned in the live broadcast room before might have known that their whole families had been blacklisted because they had slandered Su Yayan in many places. They gave up and began to curse Su Yayan on other public platforms for being cold-blooded and heartless and bullying. The audience in the live broadcast room witnessed the ins and outs of the matter with their own eyes. They watched helplessly as they inverted black and white and sowed discord. They were also very angry. One by one, they comforted Su Yayan in the live broadcast room, telling him not to take these things to heart and not to pay attention to these self-righteous idiots who thought that the whole world revolved around them. At this time, Su Yiyan had already pulled out one of the posts and read it. He found that the other party had repeatedly emphasized that he did not want to save someone who was in need. The other party even insinuated that Su Yiyan had previously given the Chinese medicine seeds to the research institute for free, because he wanted to curry favor with the higher-ups of the research institute. Ordinary people like them were simply not worth their time. Su Yiyan sneered. I'm not the Virgin Mary. I can't illuminate the earth with holy light. I can't do my best for strangers and even those who harbor ill intentions against me without asking for anything in return. I'm not their mother, so there's no need for me to spoil them. Moreover, I'm just an ordinary streamer, an ordinary shop owner. If you don't like me, you don't have to come. If I don't like you, I can also refuse to sell the fruits of my labor. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Finally, don't flatter me. Everything that flatters me is moral blackmail. I'm just an ordinary person. I can't stand everyone's deification. As soon as Su Yiyan's words came out, many of the audience seemed to be a little shocked. The bullet screen instantly decreased by a lot. You don't have to fight with these unnecessary people for me. A person who has been rejected can't change the fact that they're not welcome here, no matter how eloquent they are. You should be happy because this has already helped you eliminate some opponents in advance. Even if the remaining people are not your own, they must be some like-minded people. Don't you feel more comforted if you think about it this way? Chapter 337. The audience felt as if they had just woken up from a dream. They were both excited and distressed. The host is too stubborn. Some people just think too highly of themselves. They think that everyone has to be their mother. Why don't they look at how old they are? I hate this kind of shameless giant baby, the most. Hoo. The host is obviously the one being scolded for no reason. She should be the one being comforted the most, but she comforted us instead. What kind of immortal host am I a fan of? Hoo. I like the host who is fearless in front of anti-fans. She can make them speechless with just a few words. I also like the host's gentleness and patience to ordinary viewers like us. Some people really don't deserve to eat the host's food. Support the host. I'm about to die from anger after reading those stupid posts. Just because the host donated the Chinese medicine seeds for free, they think that the host should always serve others to live up to her reputation? They're really taking advantage of others. Give them an inch and they want a mile. Shameless to the extreme. Yes, all departments pay attention. In the future, if you see such comments on the internet, you must tell everyone that the host is being kind by being willing to help others. Endless requests for the host's contribution are shameless. Saving you is kindness, but not saving you is also duty. The host doesn't owe you anything. Su Yiyan looked at these comments that were sincerely considerate of her, and she couldn't help but feel a little more warm in her eyes. Well, let's not care about these annoying things. Next, let's draw a prize. As usual, after picking out a few audience members to send out a portion of today's dishes, Su Yiyan turned off the live broadcast and took the dishes out. Hua Chenhuan saw that she turned off the live broadcast and spontaneously sat at the dining table to wait for the food. Su Yiyan saw this and smiled slightly. Did you wait long? No, running around to do so many things every day. It must be very tiring, right? Su Yiyan was slightly startled. She was a little tired from the full schedule these days. She thought that she had hidden it well, but she didn't expect that Hua Chenhuan had already found out. She opened her mouth and wanted to say that she wasn't tired, but when she met Hua Chenhuan's gentle and tolerant eyes, she pouted and said truthfully, I'm tired. I'm dying of exhaustion. I'm so tired after earning money to support the family for a few days. It seems that I'm more suitable to be beautiful at home. So, you have to get better quickly. I'll be relying on you to take care of me in the future. Hua Chenhuan was slightly stunned. She did not expect Su Yiyan to say that. She felt distressed and amused at the same time. Okay, I'll try my best to get better as soon as possible. I'll earn money to support the family and let you be as beautiful as a flower at home. Okay. Su Yiyan nodded and picked up some food for Hua Chenhuan. If you want to get better quickly, eat well and maintain a good mood. In a few days, I'll accompany you to the hospital for a full body checkup to see the results. Although the auxiliary function could roughly see a person's physical condition, it was not as reassuring as having accurate data. Moreover, the key now was not him, but Hua Chunhuan, the person involved. Su Yiyan wanted to let Hua Chunhuan truly feel that he was recovering and increase his confidence. This would also be beneficial for the treatment later. Hua Chunhuan's eyes flashed slightly, and he nodded. Since his legs were declared dead by the most authoritative doctor, he had never gone to the hospital again. But if it was with Su Yiyan, he was willing to go and have a look. Su Yiyan was happy and continued to pick up food for Hua Chunhuan. Hua Chunhuan looked at the food piled up in the bowl. Her eyes flashed slightly, and she said meaningfully, "If I remember correctly, chives should be aphrodisiac, right?" Chapter 338. Su Yiyan suddenly paused in her action of picking up the food. Then she quietly withdrew her chopsticks and said with a slightly red face, "That's not the only effect. And it's called yang enhancement, not yang enhancement. There's a difference in nature." Hua Chunhuan raised his eyebrows and said, "Although the effect may be different, it should also nourish the kidney. So you are in such a hurry?" After Hua Chunhuan said this, Su Yiyan's face became even redder. She glared at Hua Chunhuan angrily and put a large amount of chives into Hua Chunhuan's bowl. She said fiercely, "Eat your food. So much food can't block your mouth." Hua Chunhuan looked at her deeply and said lightly, "There's only one thing that can block my mouth." Su Yiyan bit her chopsticks and was stunned for a while before she realized the meaning of Hua Chunhuan's words. Her eyes suddenly widened and she looked at the person in front of her in disbelief. She didn't expect that such a serious person would be so shameless in front of her. The two of them stared at each other for a long time. In the end, Su Yiyan compromised first and took the initiative to kiss Hua Chunhuan. "Are you okay now? Let's eat." Hua Chunhuan looked at Su Yiyan's blushing face. The corners of his mouth rose slightly and he ate obediently. Dun Dun, who had been listless and lovesick since he came home, saw this scene. Every day, they were showing off their love in front of a poor single dog who had just been kicked out of the house by his mother-in-law and lost his wife. Didn't their consciences hurt? Dun Dun, who was hurt physically and mentally, whimpered in a low voice. He leaned on the chair and completely shut himself off. As Hua Chunhuan expected, when Hua Chihan woke up in the hospital and saw Hua Xiaofan, he flew into a rage and smashed everything in the ward. He almost fainted from anger. It was Hua Xiaofeng's first time facing his father's thunderous rage. The glass cup smashed into his forehead, and blood flowed down his face. The hospital had no choice but to add another bed next to his father's. Hua Chihan got angry as soon as he saw him. He didn't want to be in the same ward as him at all. In the end, the hospital had no choice but to put a piece of cloth between the father and son so that they couldn't see each other. In the end, as soon as they put the cloth in place, the media leaked the news. The father and son fight in the ward. The head of the Hua Corporation is sent to the hospital because of his son. A fight broke out in the ward. The father and son of the Hua Group's leaders are both hospitalized. Father and son turned against each other in the past. Is it the distortion of human nature or the decay of morality? When Hua Chihan saw the report, the ward was almost smashed again. He couldn't wait to send Hua Xiaofeng back to his mother's womb to be reborn. Other people gave birth to a baby, but he gave birth to a son who was a debt collector. Previously, Hua Xiaofeng's family was ridiculed for breaking off their engagement. Later, there were problems with the Hua Corporation's key projects. The Hua Corporation's stock price fell to the bottom for a while. Even though Hua Chihan was in the hospital, he had to take the calls of the company's directors. He had to humbly accept the directors' dissatisfaction and cynicism. In the end, in order to appease the company's directors and stabilize the Hua Corporation's stock price, Hua Chihan had to cut off his tail to survive. He chose to donate the land where the ancient biological site was found. Of course, this donation meant that in addition to the company's heavy losses, he also had to put out a part of his private property to the company to maintain the company's normal operations. This part of the funds was enough to destroy Hua Chihan's years of hard work, not to mention the compensation for the company's other people whose interests were damaged. Chapter 339. The project Hua Xiaofeng was in charge of had a large initial investment. Donating it now was tantamount to digging a big hole for himself, and it would not be easy to fill it. Although the company's directors understood that Hua Qihan's actions were understandable, they were still angry. In particular, Hua Xiaofeng, who had caused all this, was his own son. He also complained about Hua Qihan, the person in charge of the company. The subtle atmosphere among the company's senior management also affected the employees below to a certain extent. Many people were counting on the year-end bonus to have a good year as it was approaching the end of the year. Now that the company was in trouble, the year-end bonus was most likely gone. The basic benefits that they had been looking forward to for a year were gone. This alone was enough to make these low-level employees dissatisfied with Hua Xiaofeng, the young master who came out of nowhere, and Hua Qihan, the big boss. However, they were small and weak. Even if they were dissatisfied, they did not dare to show it on the surface. However, once there was a crack in something, it was difficult to restore it to its original state. Many changes were also subtle. Of course, they did not dare to object, but it did not mean that the company's senior executives did not dare to vent their dissatisfaction. In order to stabilize the Hua Corporation, Hua Qihan returned to the company in a wheelchair on the third day of his admission to take charge of the overall situation. Several of the company's senior directors saw the wheelchair under him. Their expressions were subtle for a moment, but they quickly returned to their original state. I'm sure you guys already know about the development zone in the suburbs. Do you guys have any good ideas? We don't dare to say that we have good opinions. At the beginning, we had reminded you that it was very dangerous to let a young man who had just come out of society and had never experienced experience be in charge of such a project. Now that our words have come true, we have nothing to say. Hua Qihan's face darkened as he looked at the director who spoke. He was an old man in his 60s or 70s with white hair at the temples. He was the senior backbone of the Hua Corporation that had been founded with the old chairman. Even now, he had a certain right to speak in the company. This senior was now basically in a retired state and rarely came to the company. The last time he came to the company was for the company's quarterly summary meeting, which was when Hua Qihan handed over the project to Hua Xiaofeng. This time, Hua Qihan saw that he was dissatisfied with him and was ready to look on coldly. His heart was slightly cold, and his expression did not look good. However, he was in the wrong in this matter. Even though Hua Qihan was angry, he did not dare to lose his temper at the other party at this time. The incident this time was indeed due to the negligence of the subordinates of the young Peak. But the most important thing now is how to solve this problem. Everyone present was a sly old fox. How could they not understand that he still wanted to protect Hua Xiaofeng, and wanted to find a scapegoat to take the blame for Hua Xiaofeng? They didn't expose him, but asked lightly, "It's about the company's reputation and future development. Do you already have a countermeasure in mind?" I propose to give that piece of land to the Supreme Research Institute for free. This way, not only can we seize the initiative, but we can also consolidate the company's reputation to a certain extent. Take it as a free advertisement for the company. As soon as Hua Qihan said this, a director immediately chuckled and said mockingly, "Free advertising? The price of this advertisement is extraordinarily high." The atmosphere in the conference room froze in an instant, and Hua Qihan's face turned pale. In the end, it was the old director from before who became the peacemaker. Although it's expensive, we have no other choice now. Chapter 340. Everyone in the room fell silent again. The director who had previously mocked Hua Qihan snorted coldly and did not speak again. Hua Qihan could not help but breathe a sigh of relief when he saw this. He thought that this matter was over, but he did not expect the old director to say, "Although it was a last resort, it is also a fact that the company has suffered huge losses because of this. These losses still have to be borne by the culprit." The expression on Hua Qihan's face stiffened slightly, and an ominous premonition suddenly arose in his heart. Sure enough, the next second, he heard the old director say, "As the company's directors, we all agree that Hua Xiaofeng is the main person in charge of this incident and has an unshirkable responsibility for this matter. Therefore, we apply to remove him from the Hua Corporation and never hire him again." What? Hua Qihan's face turned pale. Being expelled from the company and never hired again meant that his son could no longer inherit the Hua Corporation and was directly kicked out of the Hua Corporation's heir list. Which company's employees would accept that their boss had been dismissed by the company? Wasn't this rushing to tell everyone that he was an idiot with no ability at all? However, if Hua Xiaofeng was kicked out, who else could the Hua Corporation in the future if he was not his only son? Did he have to hand it over to an outsider? No, in addition to Hua Xiaofeng, there was another person who also had the right to inherit the Hua Corporation, but that person, Hua Qihan, was so angry that he slammed the table hard, making a loud noise. No, you can't do this. You can't. The old director's old, sharp, and shrewd eyes narrowed dangerously. He chuckled and said, "Young Hua, you have to understand that the fact that we did not ask him for compensation for major engineering mistakes is already the greatest tolerance we have as elders. The fact that we did not directly pull you down from the position of the company's head is also the greatest tolerance we have as elders." These words were not polite at all. To Hua Qihan, it was a blatant threat. These old directors also held a certain amount of shares in the company, but most of them did not have a large proportion of shares and could not compare to Hua Qihan's. This was why he was put in the position of the head. Once they teamed up to deliberately mess with him, or even directly sold these shares, Hua Qihan might not be able to get away with it. Their intentions were clear. Either they let Hua Xiaofeng take the responsibility and get out of the company, or they let all of them get out. Both of them had to bear the consequences of all of them leaving the company. From this, it could be seen that Hua Qihan's usual self-righteousness and this time, Hua Xiaofeng's big trouble had completely ignited the anger of these directors, making them extremely disappointed with the father and son. Hua Qihan's expression was extremely ugly, and his eyes flickered. In the end, he made a decision between himself and his son. I agree. After saying this, Hua Qihan's straight back suddenly collapsed. His whole person seemed to have suddenly aged more than 10 years, and his expression was ashen. The others didn't care what kind of mental struggle he was going through. After looking at each other, they said in a clear voice, "Since that's the case, let's vote. Those who agree to fire Hua Xiaofeng and never hire him again, raise your hand." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Everyone in the conference room raised their hands, except for Hua Qihan. A unanimous vote. In that case, immediately inform the personnel department to handle the relevant follow-up matters as soon as possible. Chapter 341. The decision to kick Hua Xiaofeng out of the Hua Corporation was made while he was still in the hospital, unaware of what had happened. By the time he found out about it from others and called Hua Qihan to confirm it, it was already too late. Hua Xiaofeng was arrogant and had considered himself the future heir of the Hua Corporation since he was a child. However, he was kicked out of the company just as he was about to succeed. For Hua Xiaofeng, such a fall was like stepping on his face and grinding it back and forth on the ground. It was more painful than killing him. Hua Xiaofeng began to scold over the phone. He scolded the company's directors, his subordinates, and even Hua Qihan. He felt that since Hua Qihan was the person in charge of the company, he had the absolute right to speak in the company. As long as he was willing to protect him, how could the directors casually kick him out of the company? Hua Qihan was already full of anger. He was angry that the company's directors did not give him face, and he was even angrier that Hua Xiaofeng failed to live up to his expectations. In the end, not only did Hua Xiaofeng not understand him, but he also blamed him. This kind of debt collector was better off not having a son. The father and son, who were originally happy and harmonious, seemed to have gradually become estranged from the moment Hua Xiaofeng took the initiative to break off the engagement. This incident was a fuse that completely ignited the relationship between the two, making it impossible for them to return to their previous, fatherly and filial son relationship. Hua Qihan had a very important purpose for donating that piece of land. As soon as he finished negotiating with the research institute, he had asked someone to release a press release to publicize this matter. He wanted to sell the selfless name of contributing to the future of mankind. Unfortunately, the passers-by did not seem to buy it. As far as I know, there is no way to continue the construction of the ancient biological site that has been excavated underground. Are you sure you didn't deliberately bribe the press release to brag about the donation? If I had known about this before seeing the scumbag couple, I might have thought that this was a good idea. Now, it seems hypocritical. Let's go. Hua Qihan thought that once the press release was released, the reviews would suddenly turn around and the company's stock would stabilize a little. He did not expect that a third of the people had the same idea. He was so angry that he almost smashed the office again. On the other hand, Hua Chenhuan kept her promise and told her about how Hua Qihan was almost fired by the company's directors. Su Yiyan listened with relish and said with a smile, "Hua Qihan's expression must have been very funny when you said that. If I was there at that time." Hua Chenhuan looked at the gloating smile on Su Yiyan's face and laughed along. However, I really didn't expect this matter. I thought it would take a few days before he made up his mind to donate such a large piece of time. Hua Chenhuan was silent for a moment and said truthfully, "The reason why this matter has progressed so smoothly is because someone is adding fuel to the fire behind the scenes." "Who is it?" "Your brother." "My brother?" Su Yiyan looked confused and surprised. "How does this matter have anything to do with my brother?" "Maybe he saw the video of Hua Xiaofan and his wife looking for you on the internet. He couldn't bear to see you being bullied, so he pushed you behind your back." Su Yiyan nodded. She had to admit that this was indeed something her brother would do. However, since she already knew that he had pushed her behind her back, Su Yiyan had to call him to confirm. Su Yuxuan seemed to have been waiting for her call. As soon as the call was connected, he said, "You finally know to call me." Chapter 342. There was a hint of jealousy in his questioning tone. However, Su Yiyan seemed to be used to his brother's occasional arrogance and coaxed him. "I've been busy recently, so I haven't been in touch with you and Mom and Dad. How have you been?" "Pretty good. It's just that there's one less person in the family, so it's a little empty." Su Yiyan was stunned, and his heart warmed. He smiled faintly and said, "Then I'll visit you with Chenhuan this weekend when I'm free." As Su Yiyan spoke, he seemed to have thought of something and added, "I'll bring you delicious food. I'm the eldest young master of the Su family. What delicious food have I not eaten? Why would I miss the food you bring back?" Yes. You don't miss it. It's just that I've come up with a few new dishes recently, and I want you to try my cooking." She did not know who ate the most when she cooked at home. Su Yuxuan listened to his sister's coaxing and said awkwardly, "Since you've said so, Mom and Dad will wait at home and see if your cooking has improved after moving to the family Hua." "Okay." Su Yuxuan chatted with Su Yiyan for a while and suddenly asked, "Don't you have anything else to ask me?" "Ahem. I do have something to ask you. About the Hua Corporation, did you also?" "That's right. I bribed the media to deliberately fan the flames and blow the matter up. I also secretly found a close friend and asked the elders in his family to help put pressure on Hua Qihan. It would have been better if Su Yiyan did not mention this. Now that he mentioned it, Su Yuxuan felt wronged. Back then, when his sister was wronged in school, the first person she ran home to look for was him, her brother, with red eyes. Now, Hua Xiaofeng brought that mistress to find trouble with her. She did not even tell him about such a big matter. She really did not want her brother anymore after she had a husband. At this thought, Su Yuxuan snorted again and said thoughtfully, "Did Hua Chenhuan tell you? What does he mean? Does he want to denounce me? Do you think I shouldn't touch the Hua Corporation?" When Su Yiyan made the call, Hua Chenhuan was beside her. Although Su Yuxuan did not speak on speaker, her voice was not soft. Su Yiyan heard his accusation and subconsciously glanced at Hua Chenhuan. She saw that his expression had changed slightly, but he was still looking at her gently, as if he was not angry. She heaved a sigh of relief and helped to explain, "You misunderstood him. He didn't mean that. Actually, he was also involved in what happened to the Hua Corporation this time. He was standing up for me." After listening to Su Yiyan's explanation, Su Yuxuan was silent for a moment before he said, "At least he has some responsibility." When Su Yiyan heard her brother praising Hua Chenhuan, she also said happily, "He has always been very responsible. Brother, don't worry. He loves me the most now." Su Yuxuan was caught off guard and felt as if he had eaten an entire lemon. His whole body was sour, but he could not let this sour smell affect his sister. He could only turn his sour mood into anger and said coldly, "Hua Xiaofeng and that woman are really insatiable. They don't know what they are doing. It's good enough that you didn't go looking for trouble with them, but they actually came to slander you. If we don't teach them a lesson, They will really think that the Su family is easy to bully. Su Yuxuan had taken action because of the video, and because the two families had already become enemies because of the annulment of the engagement. Now, Hua Xiaofan did not know the gravity of the situation. He was clearly forcing the Su family to fight to the death with him. Chapter 343. Su Yuxuan pursed his lips and looked unhappy. I won't let this go just like that. You should also tell Hua Chunhuan to make his stance clear. The family would dare to bully you, so there's no reason for the Su family to take it lying down. I'm not asking him to kick you when you're down, but if he still has a conscience for you, he should just stand by and watch. Don't side with that family, or else I'll deal with him as well. When Hua Chunhuan heard this, she felt that if she didn't explain herself, she might be wrongly accused. She quickly stepped forward and asked Su Yiyan to give up the phone for the time being. Big brother. Su Yuxuan was caught off guard by Hua Chunhuan's voice. He froze for a moment, then his attitude quickly changed. Humph. Hua Chunhuan didn't mind his obvious difference in treatment and said softly, Don't worry. Not long after we got married, I completely fell out with them. This time, I also got involved in the Hua Corporation's matter. Just like you said, if they dare to come looking for Yan Yan, this matter won't be over so easily. I know what I'm doing. Su Yiyan stood next to him. Her eyes curved slightly, and she quickly chimed in. That's right, big brother. If he dares to help them, I'll be the first to disagree. Su Yuxuan listened to the two of them echo each other. The corners of his lips twitched slightly, and he said gloomily, Why don't you agree? Divorce him right away? Su Yiyan blinked and turned to glance at Hua Chunhuan. She seemed to have made up her mind and replied firmly, Yeah. Hua Chunhuan's eyes flickered slightly, but she didn't say anything. When Su Yuxuan heard Su Yiyan's words, he knew that she hadn't let her feelings get to her head. He said reluctantly, All right. With your words, Big Brother will feel more at ease. Don't make yourself suffer. Without him, you still have us as your family. We won't stand by and watch you get bullied. Su Yiyan's eyes curved into crescents as she softly replied, I know. The two siblings chatted about other things before they hung up the phone after Su Yuxuan reluctantly confirmed several times that Su Yiyan would return home. Before Su Yiyan could heave a sigh of relief, she suddenly heard Hua Chunhuan's emotionless question. Divorce. It's just a hypothesis. I know you won't do that. What if I did? Su Yiyan was slightly taken aback. She looked straight into Hua Chunhuan's eyes and said without hesitation, Then let's get a divorce. Why? Because if you really do that, you won't be the you in my heart anymore. For the sake of a few idiots, he turned against me and my family. If I don't divorce such a husband, am I supposed to keep him for the new year? Hua Chunhuan stared at Su Yiyan silently for a long time before she smiled and said, You're right. Ha! There will never be a day like that. Su Yiyan understood the meaning of her words and smiled. Then I'll wait and see. Su Yiyan seemed to have thought of something as she said, By the way, I have something to discuss with you. What is it? I plan to agree to Yi Qilyang's proposal and teach him some of the things I have. Hua Chunhuan didn't ask her who Yi Qilyang was, nor did she ask what Yi Qilyang's so-called proposal was. She only asked in a deep voice, Is this what you were struggling with before? Yes. I've said before that as long as it's something you want to do, you can do it. I'll support you unconditionally. Don't worry about the consequences. I'm here. Hua Chunhuan paused and reluctantly added, Other family members are here too. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.